Okay, so welcome to chair yoga on this white day. So, since we have one new person here, and there might be people at home watching this later who have not done this before, a reminder to only do things that feel good, especially if you've been doing things this week that you don't normally do, like shoveling or pushing stuff and walking in the snow. When we walk a different way. Your whole body is tense, you're lifting the legs differently, which we need to do, but it changes our body. So just do what feels good. And you can just sit with your eyes closed and reflect for a little while if that feels better as well. We'll start by sitting up really tall, so right on top of the sits bones, and think of the top of the head as though there's a string pulling the top of the head up towards the ceiling. So we're heading really tall. And let the shoulders relax. Now, even though we're sitting up really tall, let's draw the ribs in. So the shoulders are right on top of the hips. And we've got a nice neutral spine here. Now that might feel like a little bit of work. So we're going to let the back rest against the chair. And then we'll drop the chin. And you can go ahead and close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And just let everything settle down. And just begin to notice your breathing. So you might be really relaxed, or if you just arrived, you might still be feeling a little anxious from driving here or whatever. Whatever happened, we're here now. And let's bring the hands to the belly so we can focus breathing. Oh, Carolyn did come. Just a few breaths. And maybe you can slow your breathing down a little bit. And we'll try to breathe in and out through the nose. If you're a little stuffy, then you may need to breathe through your mouth. So as we're taking these breaths without changing it or forcing it, just notice the belly expanding a little bit as you breathe in, and then relaxing as you breathe out. We'll do that a couple of times. And then staying here, you can keep your hands on your belly. Focus on the back of your body, so those back ribs where they're touching the chair. And as you breathe in and out, see if you can get a sense of those back ribs expanding and moving towards the chair. It might be a very subtle movement, so don't force it, but just get that sense of the back expanding. Let's bring the hands to the sides, just to the bottom of the rib cage, and think about the ribs expanding towards the sides as you breathe in, pushing your hands a little bit out to the side, and then relaxing. I just realized I should do not disturb. And then bring your hands back to your belly and think about breathing in all those directions, expanding front and back and to the sides. So it doesn't have to be a really big breath. We're just thinking about the direction that we're expanding. And we'll keep focusing on that easy breathing. Let the hands relax down to the thighs. And take 2 more breaths here. And let's begin to move the head. So come back to the center. We're going to draw a circle with our nose. So not a really big circle. We're not looking up towards the ceiling. Maybe as big as the room. Just tracing a circle up and around. Letting the neck move easily. And then after this one, we'll switch directions. Then we'll meet up back in the center. Just make sure the shoulders are relaxed. We'll let that right ear drop towards the right shoulder. And just let it stay there. With each breath, think of that left shoulder getting a little bit heavier. And then if you like, you could come forward and bring this left arm behind your back so the palm faces out and slide it across the back. And then turn the head so you're looking down towards the floor. Just take a few breaths, letting everything relax in its position. And we'll release the arm, bring it back to the thigh, let the head come back down to the center. We'll pause there, let the back of the neck lengthen, and then slowly lift the head. And we'll go to the other side, so left ear drops towards the left shoulder. We'll take a couple of breaths here, letting everything soften and relax. Think of some length between the ear and the shoulder. And then if you want to try that arm movement, you can take that right arm, slide it towards the back. So that might be on your right hip, it might be in the center of your back, or it might be all the way over to the other hip. And if it feels okay, you can turn your head down again so your nose is pointing to the floor. And maybe it feels different on this side. And we'll let that arm release and come back to the thigh. Bring the head back down, let it lengthen towards the floor, back of the neck nice and long. And then we'll slowly lift it, looking up again to where the ceiling and the wall meet. And then slowly lower. We'll do that 2 more times. And we'll come back to the center, and 1 more movement with the head. We'll turn it side to side. And nice and slowly, you could try to combine this with your breath. Maybe breathing in as you come through the center, and then breathing out as you turn. I'll do 1 more to each side. And we'll come back to the center. Let's move the shoulders around. So bring them up towards the ears and then relax them down. Do that a couple of times, lifting up and then let them relax. 2 more times. Now, when you relax them, make sure they're really relaxed. Let them get heavy. Once more, lifting up and then lower them and then really let them go. Completely relaxed. Suddenly we have long necks. Let's move into circles. Actually, let's bring the hands to the shoulders for this and bring the elbows forward and then up and around. If that doesn't feel good, you can keep your hands down by your sides. So notice here what's happening to your shoulder blades as the elbows come forward. Your shoulder blades are sliding to the edges of your back. And when you come back, they're squeezing together. We'll do 1 more in this direction. And then we'll switch and go back and then forward. And then let everything relax. Let the arms just hang down by the side, nice and heavy. And then think of the hands getting really heavy and drawing down from the neck all the way down the shoulders. Let the weight of the arms do the work for you. And then we'll just move the arms a little bit, bring them forward and then back. So surprisingly, my hands are actually warm. Normally at this point they're cold and I'm trying to warm them up, but they feel warm today, so that's good. And you can do one and then the other. You can do it with straight arms. You can bend the arms. It's just random movement. You could do side to side, up and down, just to get some blood flowing. And then we'll relax everything back down. So if you're still sitting up like I am, you can sit back against your chair. Just make sure you've got some water handy if you need it. If you don't have some, there's always some in the fridge. Okay, please don't fall over. Chair yoga on the floor. So let's work on our hands. So make little fists, and we're just going to circle at the wrists a few times in one direction. As we're doing this, think about our posture and where our feet are. See if we can get our feet flat on the floor, about hip distance apart. And then we'll stretch them out as wide as we can, and then close them into fists. Stretch them wide and close into fists. 2 more times like that. Stretch and close and stretch and close. Then we're going to add to it. So we stretch, make a claw and a beak and a fist. So this is new for Connie, so she doesn't really know what's coming. Stretch and claw and beak and fist. So we're going to mix it up. So claw and fist and beak and fist and stretch and claw and fist. So what we've been doing in the last few weeks is doing one where you're just listening and another one where you're just watching. So you're going to do, let's do listening first. So you're going to close your eyes and try to follow what I say, which might not actually be what I do. So you really should close your eyes so that you don't see me messing it up. So we'll start with the fist, claw, fist, beak, stretch, claw, stretch, beak, fist, claw, fist, beak, stretch, beak, claw, claw, fist, beak, stretch, fist. Okay, so now you're going to open your eyes, and I'm not going to speak, which means you don't know what I'm thinking. So I can do anything randomly and I have to be right. And I'll try and give you time to react. Can everyone see? And then give them a little shake. So some people find it easier to watch, some people find it easier to listen, some people just hate the whole exercise, right? So, but it's good for us to think and act in different ways. So let's stretch out. My thumbs are still sore, it's the third week. So let's take the right hand, palm facing up, and we're going to take the other 2 fingers and let them rest on the pinky. So we're not actively pushing down, we're just letting them rest there. And then notice where you feel, if any, a stretch. And then we'll switch to the ring finger. And the middle finger. And index finger. And then the thumb. And then if you're like me and your thumbs are sore, or there's some knuckles or fingers that don't feel quite right, give them a little bit of attention right now. A little massage around those knuckles. Might be any of them, all of them. So just rubbing them helps bring some blood flow there and just feels nice, right? A little bit of self-care. And then we'll try the other hand. So left hand up, 2 fingers on the pinky. And again, notice where you feel that stretch across the palm or into your arm, onto the ring finger. And the middle finger. And the index finger. And then the thumb. And let's give this hand a little bit of TLC. So you might notice your dominant hand feels a bit different than the non-dominant one. Maybe you have no issues or pain in your hands. That's great. Anyone who wants to practice giving hand massages, I'm willing to. Oh, thank you. Ooh. And then we'll relax the hands. We're going to bring each finger towards the thumb. So you might not be able to touch the thumb, but we're turning it towards the thumb, each one in turn. Just a little bit of agility. And you might notice some fingers don't cooperate as well as others, especially that third finger and the pinky. They tend to be a little bit not very useful. So we'll do a couple more so that Jackie doesn't miss out. And another one. And then just give them a little wiggle like you're tickling someone. Okay, so let's bring that right hand out like a stop sign. I'm going to take the opposite thumb to the wrist and then turn that hand down. So you're giving a little squeeze. And we're keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Well, we're trying to do that. And then we'll release that, turn the palm up and let it stretch back. So you could try it from the palm or from the fingers, whichever way feels better for you today. And notice how this feels. If this is your dominant hand, since this is your right hand, it might be your dominant hand, more than likely. Oh, and then let's release that. Just let it shake out. And then we'll try the other hand. So again, the thumb is just coming for some support at the wrist and squeezing it back. And then we'll take that hand, turn it palm up and stretch it out. And then give that little shake. We've got one more thing to do with our arms. And we're going to take this right arm, sweep it across, then catch it with the other arm and squeeze it towards you. So we're trying to stretch the back of this shoulder. You can look over that right shoulder. Bring the head back to the center, release the arm, just move that around a little bit. And then we'll try the left arm, sweep it across, give it a hug. You can look over that shoulder. And bring the head back to the center, release the arm, just loosen up that shoulder a little bit. Oof. Okay, so we're working our way down the body. So let's do a little bit of body movement first, and then we'll come down to our feet. So we'll start with a little bit of cat-cow. So sitting up away from the chair, hands can come to the thighs. Think of that string that we had on top of our head, pulling our chest up now. So the chest lifts, shoulder blades come a little bit together, and then come through the center and drop the chin and round the spine the opposite way. So we'll do that a couple of times. Breathing in, lift the chin, the chest, draw the elbows back a little bit. And then as you exhale, come through the center, tuck the tail under. So think like a sad dog or a scared dog with its tail tucked underneath and rounding the spine. We'll do that 2 more times. Lifting the chin and the chest, and then tuck under. So if we were doing this on the floor on our hands and knees, we would call this cat because it's like a Halloween cat shape. So you can maybe imagine that shape arching the back. Last time. We'll tuck the chin round the spine. So we'll take a pause here. This is your resting pose. Hands can be on the knees or your forearms can come to your thighs. And just return to this position anytime you need a little break or you don't want to do what we're doing. It's nice to have a little bit of relaxation. And in this position, you can think again about breathing into the back of the ribs. And then we'll slowly lengthen. I'm going to take a little sip of water. Let's move our body a little bit more. So we'll bring the hands down to the side. We'll do some sun salutations because we really need the sun. So inhale, lift the arms up. And as you exhale, fold forward. So we're moving really slowly, and your movement may not go to this degree, right? You might come down not as far, but lifting halfway, that nice strong spine. And exhale and fold. Inhale, lift, sweep the arms all the way up. Let's bring the hands together and come down through the center. Take an extra breath. Breathing in, breathing out, release the hands. And we'll do that again. Inhale to lift. Exhale and fold. Lift halfway and fold. Inhale, lift and reach the arms up. Let's bring the hands together, slowly lower it down, taking an extra breath, breathing in and out. Breathe in, release the arms. Let's do that once more. Breathing in to lift and exhale to fold. So if this breathing is too slow for you, just breathe at your natural rhythm. Don't force your breath to slow down. This time when we get to the top, you're going to bring the hands together and interlace them so you can take the interlock the fingers and let the index finger lift to the ceiling. Take a side bend to the right and then up to the center and to the left. Let's do that once more to each side. So keeping the pelvis nice and heavy on the chair, so waist upwards is moving. Come back to the center, release the hands. We'll take a little twist to the right. Come up through the center and then take a twist to the left. We'll do that once more to each side. So if this is too much lifting of the arms, you can just come straight into that twist. Breathing in to get tall and then twist to the left. And we'll bring everything back to the center. Oh, my hands are really warm now. So now let's warm up our feet a little bit. So we're going to come up onto the balls of the toes and then onto the heels and pull the toes back towards the shins. We'll do that a few times. And maybe you notice the mobility in one ankle compared to the other. Lift and lift and lift. A couple more. And then we're going to switch. So we're going to lift the right heel and the left toe. One heel and one toe. And then switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. This is for Juanita. She performed as expected last week, didn't she? Lift and lift and lift. Then we're going to do a little run. So we're going to come into the center and then out to the side. Make some sound with both feet if you can. We're doing our little football drill because, you know, that's how agile we all are. And then relax. Ooh. Okay, now we need a drink, don't we? I've got the heart rate moving. Warmed up our feet, warmed up our hands. We haven't quite finished with our feet though. So we're going to warm up our knees a little bit. Get those creaks out, lifting one leg and then the other. So we'll start off nice and small, a little gentle lift and lift. And then as we think we've got rid of all the clicks in our knees, we can lift and think of reaching through the back of the leg into the heel. Lift and reach. Lift and reach. And reach. Lift and lift. Now this time we're going to lift that right leg and leave it up there. We're going to point and flex and point. And that you. Good ankle cracking today there. Really pull those toes back. Mine does not come back very far. And then we'll hold it there and keep the leg still and just circle at the ankle. So when we're walking on this kind of terrain, it's really good to have this ankle flexibility. It helps you recover, so you've got that balance, switch directions of your circle. And so let's see, we're going to write snowflake with our big toe. That's a long word, isn't it? Now I'm panicking, trying to think what we're going to write with the other side, and then bring it down. Give it a little shake. And then we'll try the left leg, and we'll point and flex. Let's see. And then we'll make those circles. I'm trying to think what we could write with this foot. Snowflake is 9 letters. Hmm? Oh, well done. Perfect, thank you. See, it's a community. So this time, thanks to Jackie, we've got another 9-letter word, which is evergreen. Those E's are hard, aren't they? Yeah, but try to just, I've lost count, I lost where I am. Can't spell evergreen. And then bring it down, or pretend you've done it and bring it in and just wiggle it around a little bit. Let's bring the feet wide, about as wide as the legs of the chair, and we'll let the knees come together. In fact, maybe not quite that wide, it's a bit too far, and then let them open out to the side. So we're rotating the knees in and out. So you can use your hands to do that, or you can just let the legs do the work. We're just getting a little bit of rotation in the thighs. And we're going to use our brain a little bit. I know, scary thought. So we'll bring the hands to the knees. I'm going to do our Charleston. So we're going to bring the knees together, cross the hands, and then open. Pull them together, uncross, whatever that word would be, and then open. So each time you bring the knees in, you cross and uncross the arms. Now, if you're really clever, we would bring the opposite arm on top, but I cannot do that. I always have to do the same arm on top. Yeah. It's strange to do. I just can't do the other hand. I can try. It just doesn't feel right. And then just don't worry about it. Right? No one's watching you. Let's do a little bit more brain work. We haven't done this for a while. So I haven't done it for a while either. So let's see. So we're going to do patty cake. I'm just trying to concentrate here. So we'll start with a clap across. So across, clap, across, out in front, and then down. Okay? So across, across, in front, and down. Do as I say, not as I do, I guess. I told you I hadn't done it for a while. Wow, we're rusty. Okay, so that was to start. So this time we'll start with tapping the head on the same side. So it's just a tap. Don't get carried away and smack too hard. So clap, tap, then across, across, in front, and down. Again, head, head, across, across, in front, and down. Good. This time we're going to start with a tap to the opposite shoulder. So we're doing shoulder, head, across, theoretically. Better to do it with your eyes closed and not watch me. Okay, so shoulder, shoulder, head, head, across, across, in front and down. Again, shoulder, shoulder, head, head, across, across, in front and down. Let's do that once more because that felt stilted. It'll be really smooth this time. shoulder, shoulder, head, head, across, across, in front, and down. I have to try and not watch what people are doing. Got enough to concentrate. So we can do one more. Let's tap down to the opposite leg first, right? So we're going to do leg, shoulder, head, across, or some combination thereof, right? Just move. So we'll start leg, leg, shoulder, head, across, in front, and down. Leg, leg, shoulder, shoulder, head, head, across, across. A little bit faster. Leg, leg, shoulder, shoulder, head, head, across, across. Oh, wow, we are once more. That hurt. I just banged my head. Yes. Wow, that's like anxiety ridden. The performance of it. Well done. Ooh, well, that got our minds working a little bit, didn't it? Let's take a couple of breaths. Combining our crossing the body with the same side of the body, 2 hands and 1 hand, right? They're all important movements. And then we'll turn. We're going to turn to the side. So let's turn around to the right side. We're holding on to the back of the chair with that right hand. Let's bring the left foot out onto the floor. So both feet are flat on the floor. And we'll come into some warriors. So if your arms are tired, you can keep your arms down. If you're feeling, you can move your arms a bit. We'll lift them up in front. So we're facing that right leg, reaching strong arms. Drawing the ribs in nice and tall. And then we'll open out into warrior 2. So that left arm comes behind, right arm's in front, just to shoulder height. So lower your arm, lower it, lower it, lower it. Good. Nice. Let's take hold of the chair with the left hand. Turn that right hand so palm faces up. Lift up and back for your radiant warrior. Keep breathing, keep holding onto the chair. So you might feel those right ribs opening up a little bit here. And then we'll come back to warrior 2. Take a breath here. Sweep that left arm down and up back into your warrior 1. Nice. And then we'll lower the arms. Hold on to the back of the chair. We'll let that left foot come out to the side. The heel on the floor. So draw those toes back. So you're still facing this right leg. And the spine's nice and long as you just hinge towards that leg. So you might feel a stretch in the inner thigh. You can look straight ahead or you can look down at your leg. You can look anywhere that feels okay for your neck. Slowly lift up. Bring that leg in. We're going to let the knee drop to the floor or towards the floor and then let it come back a little bit. And if your arms are still feeling okay, you can lift that left arm up and take a side bend towards the chair. And just take a couple of breaths here. And lower the arm. Let that foot come back to the floor. Just let it move in and out a little bit. And then we'll keep hold of the chair as you slowly turn back to the center and then around to the other side. And let's see if we can remember what we did. So we're holding onto the chair. That right foot is flat on the floor this time. And the chest is facing the left leg. So we'll start with our warrior 1. So the arms come down and lift up. Nice and strong. Take a breath or 2 here. So we might be holding the position, but we don't hold our breath. And then we'll open the arms out to warrior 2. So that left arm's in front, right arm's behind, palms face down. So although we're looking at the left hand, the chest is a little bit open here, so a little bit of some twisting movements. Keep breathing. Take that right hand to the chair, take hold of it, flip the left palm, reach up and back. So opening that left side of the body. Then we'll come back to our warrior two. Nice strong spine. Sweep that back arm down and up into your warrior one. And then relax the arms down. Take hold of the chair. We'll come into our triangles. That right leg comes out to the side. We're facing the left leg. The spine is long and we hinge towards that right leg. And you can turn to look at that foot. Let's make sure we pull those toes back towards the shin. And we'll slowly lift. Still keeping hold of the chair, bring that leg in and let the knee drop down towards the floor. So it might just stay here. You could push it back further if you like. And if you still have some strength left in your arms, you can lift that right arm up and then take a side bend. If your arms are tired, then just keep your hand down beside you or at the hip. And you can still take a side bend. And we'll slowly come up through the center, lower the arm, bring that foot back to the floor, take a breath, and let's come back to the center. So we're going to do a little bit of work, right? I think our arms have worked hard enough for a little while. So we'll do some Karen's favorite. We'll do some core work. Let's start off with that leg work we've been doing first. So since we've got someone new, we'll start off building up to it so everyone can decide how much they want to do. So the first thing you can do is just slide out and in, just out and in, like you're polishing the floor with your foot. And that might be all you want to do today, is to get that leg moving. Or you can step a little step over. I like to call it stepping over the Lego. It's a tiny thing on the floor you want to avoid. And if you're feeling good and strong, you can lift up higher and then lift it up. Lift it up and up. And around about now, you might start feeling this muscle here doing some work. That's what we want. Feel that hip flexor working. So we're trying to do this without using the rest of the body to do it. So we're trying to not use our body, just use these muscles here. Couple more. And then relax. Ooh. Not working, not feeling it. Yeah. So it might be there. It might be right in the yeah, I feel it in the crease. I feel a bit of work here. So I feel this working, but I feel this aching. It's not good or bad, right? It's just where we're weakest. So maybe you've got really good hip flexor. So let's start on that nice little polishing the floor. I don't know what that's like on a carpet. Maybe you're building up some static there. And then we'll just step over the Lego. So a little bit. So depending on how you're feeling today, maybe this is already a challenge and you just lift your leg a little bit because you're building up some strength. That's perfectly good. If you feel a little bit stronger and you can lift that leg higher, you can step up. So I already feel it in this side because I guess this leg is weaker. Ooh. Look at Jackie, she's got a lot of mobility there. Let's do two more. Okay, that feels like work, doesn't it? Oh, bring the legs wide. And just let one knee drop in and then the other. As you turn that knee, look over that shoulder like you're having a photo taken. Like, oh, me? Oh, really? I couldn't. I never had prom pictures, so I'm imagining this is what they make you do. Like, just try not to look scared, I guess, and then come back gradually to the center. So we'll do a little bit more core work. So to feel our core working or to make it work, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Maybe the easiest way to think of it is how you feel when you're coughing. That sense of everything pulling into the center. The ribs are trying to close, they can't close. The hips are pulling in, the belly button's drawing in, everything is pulled in. So that's the feeling we want to get, but it doesn't have to be a really violent, difficult feeling. So you could maybe bring your hands to your belly here. Take a breath in. The belly will expand. Let it expand. And as you breathe out, imagine you're blowing out a candle by pulling everything in and squeezing the air out. Breathe in, exhale through the mouth, letting me hear that sound. Let's do 2 more so I can hear it. Good. And once more. So depending on what part you're using most, you'll feel it in different places. You might feel it up here. I tend to feel it down here. I like to think of my hips squeezing together. It's not right or wrong, but we want that sense of feeling. So we want to use those muscles to help us move as we come to our I Dream of Jeannie arms. So nice long spine. So whereas earlier we did that cat-cow moving the shape of the spine, this time we're keeping the spine nice and stable and we're just hinging back. So just come back a couple of inches. Now use all those muscles to pull you forward. So we're trying to not use too much of the legs and just use those core muscles. Exhale, pull the ribs in, pull the belly button in towards the spine. Good. A couple more like that. Okay, 2 more. A couples. And last one. And then relax everything. Whew. Take some more cat-cow so we can stretch out that belly. So lift the chin and chest, draw the elbows way back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then tuck the tail under round the spine and come forward. Do that a couple of times. Lift the chin and chest. And then exhale. Everything rounds forward. 2 more times like that. And then after this one, we'll pause in that resting pose, hands on the knees or forearms on the thighs, letting the spine round and take a couple of breaths. And then we'll slowly sit up nice and tall. We did this last week or the week before when we did our stirring the pot. So you can use your arms or you can just move your body. So it could be a small movement where you're basically moving the spine like a spinning top, or you can really bend into it, coming forward and around. So if you want to, you could imagine you're stirring a big pot, stirring something like fudge. A big pot of caramel. That's not very healthy, is it? Or porridge. And then we'll switch directions and go the other way. I have porridge every morning. Let's do 2 more after this one. Just moving that spine in all the directions it can go. Good. And then we'll come back to the center. Let's bring the feet back parallel. We'll open the arms wide. Lift the chin, lift the chest. Reach those fingertips behind you as wide as they'll go. And then wrap the arms around. Give yourself a big hug. Let's bring the right arm on top. And then tuck the chin. Slowly take that forward fold. Just as far as you're comfortable. So that might mean your elbows come all the way down to your knees, or it might be a little forward fold. Breathing here into those back ribs. And slowly lengthen. So begin to stack the spine, uncurling. reaching the arms out as wide as they'll go. Behind you, point the fingertips back, and then wrap around. This time we'll bring the left arm on top. Give yourself that big hug, dropping the chin and beginning to curl forward. Keep breathing. And then begin to unwind, slowly lengthening, opening the arms wide, and then we'll reach up towards the center. Turn the palms, push down as though you're pushing down through water. Let's do that once more. Breathing in to slowly lift. And turn the palms down, pushing down with a little resistance. And then move those shoulders around. Take a little sip. Let's do one more thing for our shoulders and our brains. Okay, so we'll do our serving the tea. So we'll start with let's be dangerous and start with our left hand. Imagine that. So we start in the center and we imagine that we're serving a drink, right? Serving the tea, keeping the palm facing up. Then we're going to add to that. So we open, lift it up and turn it over the head. Don't spill that tea. Come down and in. Out to the side and up. And it's a nice big spiral movement. So try to get it smooth and up and smooth and down. So we're going to add to that. Out and up and over. Open it, bring it down, and then the elbow comes out and that tea goes behind. And then bring it back, and we do the whole thing again. So nice, think of a big spiral staircase coming out and around and back. And you could really just do anything. We're just moving the shoulder randomly here. And then relax. Just pause for a moment, see how that shoulder feels compared to the other one. Actually, it does feel better. Wow, like this stuff works. Let's try the right arm. So we'll start the same way, out to the side and back. Imagine that, yes. So T, and then we'll come out to the side and lift it and bring it over the head. And then bring it out and back. So we'll do that a couple of times. Palm stays facing up, otherwise you're going to spill the tea and drop the cup on your head. Up and around. Yeah, as far, yep, and then around. And let's try, there's a lot of crashing teacups here. Lifting up and over the head, and now we're going to add to it that big spiral around, through that gap to the back, and then around. And up. So think of that big spiral out. Don't think too much. Just move it. Once you start it, it's a much more natural movement. Don't think about the tea over your head or anything. Just make that big movement. And last one, out and back. And then relax for a moment. Okay, let's do both together. We keep saying we're going to try and do one in one direction, one in the other, but I haven't managed to kind of get my head around that. So open and lift. It's a big double spiral staircase coming out and around and back. Out and around and up and over. So this is a really good movement for mobility of the shoulders and the wrists, as you realize that your wrists don't actually turn the way you want them to. Let's do one more. So to the side and up, over the head, sweeping out and around, internally rotate back, and then bring them down. Let the arms just hang down heavy. Yeah, my hands are really warm now. Let them just like hang be heavy. Whew. Let's want to come into one more twist. What time? We'll add it into our leg. So let's scoot forward a little bit. And we'll take that. I've just got to get the clicks out of my knees again. There we go. Take that. Exactly. Take that right leg out, heels on the floor, toes are reaching back. So we've got a nice long spine here. Let's bring the hands to the left thigh. Make sure that left foot is flat on the floor and we hinge forward. So depending on your anatomy and mobility, you might feel a big stretch here anywhere in this back line, or you might not feel anything if you have long hamstrings. Just take a couple of breaths. So this is another good place to think about breathing into the back ribs. And we'll slowly lengthen. We're going to stick with this leg. Bring it in. Let it open out to the side. So if you're at home and you have a block or a book or a little footstool, you could either leave your foot on the floor, bring it to something in between, or you can bring it up over your thigh, if that works. This foot is flexed, long spine, and we're hinging forward. So that pelvis is tilting forward here. Ooh. And maybe ease off. That's a big stretch. So the goal is to let this outer hip relax. So if you feel it's really tight and like an elastic band getting pulled to its limit, then ease off a little bit and let the muscles soften. And then you can return to your stretch. And we'll slowly lengthen. We're going to keep this leg across. So if you can bring the knee over the other knee. If that's not comfortable, you can just cross at the ankles. Take that left hand to the thigh, take the right arm out, and take a big sweep up towards the ceiling, all the way around, reaching it behind, and coming into that twist. So we'll take a few breaths here. So you're looking towards that right side. Just begin to unwind. Take a little twist the other way. Come back to the center, unwind the legs, let that move around a little bit. And then let's try the other side. Well, before we do the other side, let's just pause. Take a couple of breaths, see how one side feels compared to the other. And then we'll work on that left side. So left foot out, heels on the floor, toes reach back, long spine, and we'll hinge forward. Now slowly lengthen, bring that leg in. So preparing for our supine seated pigeon, we could bring the foot to the floor, to something in front, or get it onto the thigh if that works. It's okay if it doesn't work. Foot's flexed and it's hinged forward. Oh, and you might notice one hip is much more or less cooperative than the other. So give yourself time to let everything soften and release. And just check in here that you've got equal weight on your sits bones. Tendency is to kind of let it lean to one side and you're missing out on a bit of stretch then. So we want the pelvis to be in a neutral position as you hinge forward. Slowly lengthen. So again, we'll cross the legs either at the knee or at the ankle. Bring that right hand to the thigh, reach the left arm in front, sweep it up towards the ceiling, and then open the chest and come into that twist. So you can keep reaching the arm, you can let it relax down over the chair, letting the head turn towards the left. And then slowly unwind. Take a little twist the other way. Come back through the center, unwind everything, move that leg around a little bit, and we'll find a comfortable way to sit for our Shavasana. So we still want to start with that long spine, but then rest the upper back against the chair, let the elbows reach back so the arms are relaxed. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, or take a soft focus a few feet in front and let the chin drop. We're just returning to that sensation of the breath. Relaxing the forehead and the jaw, the back of the neck. And let the shoulders be heavy. Relaxing the area between your shoulder blades, down through your spine to your waist. Notice the movement of your chest and the softness of your belly, moving with each breath. Relaxing your upper arms through the elbows, heaviness of the lower arms, wrists. Feel the weight and the heat of your palms all the way down to your fingertips. Let the pelvis be heavy. Notice the feeling of the chair on the back of your legs, the weight of your hands on the top of your thighs, relaxing through the knees and the lower legs, the ankles, and the soles of the feet, down to the tips of the toes. And with each breath, imagine sinking a little further into the floor. Arms get heavier, feet get heavier. Focusing on softening and relaxing. Let's begin to move the fingers and toes, the wrists, and the ankles. Gradually waking up the body, moving the legs and the arms. It might feel good to take a big stretch. And then sitting up nice and tall. Let's bring the hands anyway to the heart. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Just breathe as normal. And I'm so glad that you managed to come out in this weather to see us today. If you're at home, stay safe and warm. And for those of us who aren't home, we will drive carefully and see you next week. Thank you, everyone.